Hey guys, welcome to my first video in my series on how to create a full stack application using ReactJS, Next, Node, and AWS. This tutorial is going to cover everything from getting the app going to hosting it on AWS. The end goal of the project is to basically create a database lookup application that has a UI that can do a fuzzy search and pull up items by name, ID, or perhaps a descriptor that we can figure out as we get further along in the series. But let's get right into it. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get npm installed. So I'm going to link this in the description below, but we'll go to nodejs.org, and then it'll start you on the package manager. We'll go to the pre-built installer, and then you'll download this right here. And once you go through the full installation, you should be able to go into terminal, and you should be able to type node.v. And when you install Node, it also installs npm, which is Node Project Manager, which is what we will be using to manage our projects packages, as in the name. And you should be able to type npm-v, and that should show you the version that you have installed. It will probably be, looks like 10.9. I have 10.2.3. I wouldn't worry about that. So let's move on. Okay, now that we have npm installed, I'm going to go ahead and open my terminal here, and I'm going to check that npm is installed. So I'll do npm-v, and that checks the version, and we can see that the version shows right there. Don't worry if your version is different than mine, that should not be a problem. And now that we know npm is installed, we're going to install npx, which will allow us to create our NextJS and ReactJS project right here. So I'll go ahead and type npm install npx. And you'll probably get a different output than mine. I already have it installed, so it's throwing me these funny looking messages. You can just type npx-v, and that'll show that it's installed. Okay, so now I'm going to navigate to where I want to create my project. So I'm going to go cd documents, cd GitHub. And it doesn't really matter where you create your project. I highly recommend you create it in your documents folder, as it's easier to find that. But as long as you create it somewhere that you know or can find, that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and type npx create next app at latest. And what this is essentially going to do is create our ReactJS app with Next.js installed, and it will be using the latest versions. Okay, so I'm going to name this Fullstack Lookup because we'll be making a Fullstack Lookup project, and I'll use TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind, and we'll use the source directory, app router, yes, and then no to these two. And essentially, what TypeScript does is it allows us to hard type all of our variables, functions, and components. So if props are passed or a variable is set to a type or a function is expecting something, it'll know what that value should be. And then ESLint makes sure that our code is up to standard and we're not breaking any practices that shouldn't be broken. And Tailwind will allow us to style our library. And these other ones don't really matter for now. App router might matter if we end up making multiple pages, but this might be a single page application. Okay, now that our project is done, there's two ways we can open it up. We can either go into VS Code, we can open the folder, and then I'm just going to go ahead and navigate to where I created it, and as you can see, Fullstack Lookup, and select the folder. The other way is you can basically cd into your folder here. So I'm going to cd into it now that I'm already here, and then you can just type code dot, and as you can see, our project is open right here. Okay, so we are going to look into our package.json right here, and as you can see, we have some JSON going on. We have the name of the project, the version of it, that doesn't really matter. We have scripts, dependencies, and dev dependencies. So as you can see, we have React with the latest version installed and Next as well. And then we also have some scripts. And the most important one that we'll focus on right now is dev. So we're going to go in here and we're going to get our app running. So we'll type npm run dev. And that'll go ahead and run that script and get us started in dev mode where we can see our application, and if we make any changes to it, it'll show. Okay, so it's ready. We can control click here and it'll open it in another page. You can just keep an eye on the console, it's compiling it. Okay, so as you can see, our project is up and ready to go. And NextJS tells us that this is indeed a Next project, and it's telling us where we need to start. So now that we have this running, I'll stop right here, but in the next video, we will go over how to start editing our component here and get the UI out that we will be using for pretty much here on until the end of the series. Thank you for watching.